Welcome back, everybody, to Dad Talks with Jay Blues. We have another guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up? My name is Joshua Smykel. I hail from Ajax, Ontario. And you're going to learn about me throughout the course of this interview, so I'm not going to get too deep with it.
All right. And you're a father, correct?
I'm a father of two.
Father
boy and girl.
of two, boy and girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're good. You evened out. You plan on having any more?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
How much do you want?
I mean, initially the number was like, the high, the sevens, the eights.
Oh my God.
I come from a big family myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was, now, you come from a big family when you start losing count, when you actually have to say the number of kids that are actually in your family. 5 boys, 2 girls, 7 of us, and then my parents.
So 7 of you guys.
7. And I mean, like, the house was about, it's a 2-bedroom, like semi detached house, and we did it for like 10 years.
You said 2-bedroom, 7 kids plus 2 parents.
Plus 2 parents, and at one point, 4 of my aunts and my grandmother, all in one crib.
You guys packed it up.
I mean, at first it was like my dad had this whole plan that he's going to fly them up from Jamaica. They're going to work in the house, and there's not going to be any friction between family members. And there was plenty of friction.
Of course. That much people in that small of a house, there's definitely going to be, that's mine. Don't touch that. Definitely going to be friction.
Yes. And we learned pretty fast. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I understand his point of view, when he came forward and he had this plan to sort of move up from where we were, like, economically by having his mom there and having my aunts there. But the moment that they touched down from home, they had their own plan as to where they wanted to take their lives. Okay. And that impacted the whole plan. And
wow.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you had your father growing up. How was that experience?
It was good. I mean, I would say that I had a really full childhood as far as the influence of my dad and my mom being in the same house. I don't come from a background of, my dad was absent, or, my mom and my dad were at war the whole time that we were at home and stuff. But my dad, his personality, now here's like, I'm coming out with it now, but his personality was one that wasn't tremendously engaging. He was one of those father types, because I guess he subscribed to that West Indian model of that matriarchy where like the mom is the one who's driving the charge, and then he's just back there and he's cool. And like, if he has to get up, things are going to get
trouble.
Crazy.
It's trouble.
Exactly. So he stays quiet most of the time.
Yeah.
And that dynamic was cool. My dad's super chill. I feel like I get my relaxed capacities from him, but I would say, he was chill to a point where there was some level of disconnect, which I guess is sort of standard, or could be standard in some West Indian homes, where like the father is there, but he's not really like,
not really there. Yeah. It's almost like an absent dad, but he's present.
I mean, like, you don't want to say it because it sounds terrible.
Yeah.
And like, the nature of these interviews is like things are going to get cathartic real quick. Like, you're going to start to learn some stuff and uncover some stuff. And like, I didn't think we get here already at this one in the interview. But I mean, if I'm really reflecting on my time at home growing up with my dad, there was a couple of things that I would say that he was like sort of up against, where, he's the father of 7 children.
Yeah.
Not everyone gets to experience seeing what it's like to be a father in that situation.
Right.
And not just the father of like 7 children, but it's like father of 7 children in like a complicated situation where it's like not all the kids are his.
Oh, okay. So it was a blended family.
It was a blended family. So my dad met my mom, thought she was the baddest woman on the planet, who also happened to be in the church.
Okay.
And wasn't listening to anything else. Said, I'm going to marry you now. They dated for like 8 months. I want to say 4 months. That's crazy. But I mean, some people meet, they get married in like 9 days.
I've seen it. As a wedding photographer, I've seen people date for 4 months, get married in like the 5th month, and that's it. They're gone.
And all the power to them. I can't be the one to talk, because I mean, like, my wife and I, we dated for less than a year and we got there. But I digress.
Yeah.
My dad, I met my mom, thought she was the baddest woman on the planet, decided to say, hey, lock it in. And this all had transpired. And her son, my older brother,
Okay.
was 8 years old in Trinidad at the time and had been living in Trinidad while my mom had moved to Canada. And he had been living with his grandparents in Trinidad for like the past, well, up until that point, about like 6 years.
Wow.
So like he's talking to mom on the phone, seeing pictures, but like hasn't seen mom
Yeah.
for like 6 years.
Wow.
And my dad meets my mom, they get married, and they get busy. Now I'm on the way. And my brother's coming up from Trinidad to meet my dad for the first time.
Whoa. That's a lot. That's a lot. So your brother's coming up from Trinidad with a new stepfather and a new brother on the way after not seeing his mom for 6 years.
Something like that.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's heavy.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
And it's crazy because I haven't spoken about this
Yeah.
in this way. I've never spoken about this in this way ever. I don't think I've ever told this story, but like he came up, and the moment that he touched down, it was culture shock for him because he's coming from Trinidad and he is a Trinidadian.
Yeah.
And he's coming into this, he's coming to Scarborough where you have pharmacy in Ellesmere.
Oh, so
and he's going to school.
Oh, that's
and they're not giving him no one's taking a break on him. Your accent sounds funny. Where'd you come from? Da, da, da. Like you're talking back, like this is the 90s.
Yeah. Oh,
We're
yeah.
not as politically correct.
There was no cancel culture.
There was no cap. Kids are coming at you like full force.
Yup.
And he's navigating all this, and then he's navigating, the whole situation. Oh, my dad, and then he has a different last name.
Okay.
So he's also trying to like mitigate that. And now he's a part of this family now. And, it's one thing to have a blended family and like there's one kid and then there's the other kid, myself.
Yeah.
And it's like balanced, but you got like one kid and then like 6 other kids who come afterwards. You are assimilating to a new culture now, which you are continuing to adjust to.
Right.
And, my dad was in a position where he was trying to lead in a certain direction. But I mean, at the time, the regrets are out now, but like he was trying to lead in a certain direction to have everyone, the same last name, same experience, whatever. And back in Trinidad, they dug in their heels and said, no. He's going to have his name remain the same way and he will just be him.
Yeah.
And since that time, he's grown up kind of just being him.
Right.
In this house.
Right.
And trying to understand who he is as a part of the family.
Right.
And I mean, like, for the beginning part of my childhood, he took it out on me.
Who else is he going to take it out on? No, baby brother. That's it.
I would find, like, he'd have all, because he's older than me.
Right.
He'd have all these cool things. He had the AI threes, Allen Iverson threes for the younger audience there. Allen Iverson was killing it back in the 90s. And he had the AIs and he'd be, rocking those. He has some fresh gear, some N1 stuff. And I was, I'd ask to wear the stuff or to borrow or even to hold it or look at it. No,
can't wear it.
I don't even exist right now.
Yeah.
My younger brother, the one who's directly after me, is like all of the sins, all of the transgressions against my older brother have been poured on me, and it just avoids him. So he's able to slide in there, get the Adidas slides on, get the basketball jersey on, rocking his Carter. Like he's doing his thing, and I'm like, I mean, in my mind, I always fought with it and be like, oh, that's not fair. Oh, he hates me for no reason. Whatever. It wasn't until I was an older person, literally an adult. My brother had left the house and then came back and started to live with us again that, we are actually able to come to an understanding and develop a friendship to where now, like, I call him up, like, that's my boy.
Yeah.
But, we had to come to a point of understanding each other and kind of understanding where we were coming from and really accepting, like, the type of family that we're in and who we are as brothers.
Right.
Because I don't feel like that was something that was sort of led. It was something that we were kind of left to discover. And that's probably because the numbers were high at the house.
There was a lot of people, a lot of different personalities, and your father was doing, I guess, the best he knew how to do at the time, right?
Yeah.
He coming from that West Indian mentality, you provide. As a father, all you got to do is provide.
Yeah.
Once you provide, you're successful, right? Mom will handle the house. You provide. If mom needs help, hey, what are you guys doing? You come with the authority, and then that's it. Then you go back and just, flick on the TV and you're good, right? You're in the house.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of fathers, especially a lot of West Indian fathers, still have that mentality. Like, as long as I'm in the house, I can't be an absent father. All right. And they don't really engage with their children. Like, you may ask them, what's your child's favorite color? What's their favorite TV show? Who are their friends? And they'd be like, I don't know all that stuff. All I know is they eat, they have a roof over their head, and they have clothes, and they're good. Right. So I get it's definitely a different culture than what we're used to now growing up. Right. So you're a father of two. How do you see, or do you see a resemblance with how your father raised you to how you're raising your kids?
The crazy thing is that yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that there's some of the traits that my father would bring to the household, the stoicism, the sort of like, you know, directive leadership, like we're doing this at this time and, you know, cut this out and this is the direction that we're going. Like, I see that part of him that's in me coming out. But when it comes to the intentionality of fatherhood,
Yeah.
something that I reflect on actively as I go about raising my children, that's where I think we sort of branch off.
Okay.
And, you know, I have a son, I have a daughter. I want to break from that mold where, you know, you're the man of the house, you provide. Yes, that's cool, but you're emotionally distant. And then when that child grows up, you don't even really know how to connect with this person.
Right.
Because the one, like, you're the person who provides for this person as a child. When that story is over and that journey is done, and you're not providing for this person as a child, what is this relationship?
Yep.
And, you know, like I've seen it where, you know, the father is sort of lost in the sauce, doesn't really know what to do with the relationship after the contract is finished. He's 18 now.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to address this person as an adult. And oftentimes it could be both dad and mom together will just revert back to the same sort of respect they were giving you as a child.
Yeah.
And they don't respect your decisions, or they want to challenge you because they don't think you're doing it right or whatever. And, you know, it's because like the journey is not just with this person as a child. This is a journey with a person, or with this person as a person.
Yeah.
And there's chapters that start and close. And when this, you know, you start that chapter of adulthood or you start that chapter of grandfatherness, you have to now figure out how you adjust and how you land in this space and how you advise your child. And I feel that like you're able to do a better job. You're a little bit more directive when you've been developing that relationship from small.